down low straight off the bat. As it looks like Dignitas have got 4 players making their way over towards Amps. Rubino trying to hold the flank in through Banana, but he's going to have his face railed off by Snappy.
Yeah, an interesting matchup here. I'm excited to see the way this goes. Dignitas a man down. Going to be set up outside of the apartments, or just inside the apartment, sorry. About to burst out into A. They've got no utility here, just armoured players, so this could be difficult. 3 heroic players, poised and ready, waiting for this one. And it's going to be the waterfall out of apartments, it seems, with a split through short. Tensky making his way out first here. We've got 3 players from heroic, and Cadian, he's going to be the first point of contact here. Nico as well, very close. It's Yugi to open things up. Harry makes a deep cough, and Cadian going to find 2 quick kills, make it a third. It's actually Yugi to pick that one up. And heroic, they are going to take a very clean first pistol round.
Oh, my cough button let me down to no end.
That was so aggressive and manly.
Thank you. I know. Well, what can I say? When you got to clear your throat, you got to clear your throat. And you know, just to stop myself from choking. Speaking of choking, we're going to be seeing Heroic picking up that first round. They're now buying down what they can as the force spike does come in from a Dignitas. It'll be 3 Ds in play, 2 Tech 9s on the back of these players. Already Tensky and Fox making their way up Banana. 3 players in the meantime making their way up towards apartments. This is something we see Dignitas do a hell of a lot. They like to play for the apps control early on. Well, the bomb's going to be over here on the back of Rubino. Bacon and Croman both here. Try and open this up, and already Rubino's been tagged down low, but it's Fox to find it first in through the smoke over a B. Modi going to hit the deck, and now this could cause the rotate of that bomb. Instead, though, it looks like the players on Banana are going to opt to fall on back. Rubino is actually rotating down towards B with that bomb on his back, and they will be leaving Croman to sell the lurk over towards apartments.
The commitment going to come out very shortly. As soon as Cadian spots anyone, Yugi can fully commit to this rotation, but in the meantime, Snappy takes one down in mid. That may even sell the fake further. As we start to see this push go out, Cadian gets flashed through. Nice shot. He gets 2 kills. Now we're going to see Yugi to peek out with him, and there we go. It's a clean round. Heroic. They lose 2 players in the process, but Yugi's there to spray down 2 as well. And they will pick up a second round on the board there. Dignitas not able to get a thing done. And again, I think this is probably the only matchup, or at least the first matchup today, where we might actually see 3 maps come through, because we've had 2-0s across the board in every single game that we've casted today. So and every game running on and off stream today. So it's interesting to have such a one-sided result. So, and I really think, again, we're talking about the map veto a little bit. This could definitely go to 3 maps. I mean, this is a great map for Dignitas. It's an okay one for Heroic, and somehow, for some ungodly reason, Dignitas decided to veto Cobble, Heroic's also worst map, instead of vetoing Nuke, which is an interesting decision. So obviously Nuke going to be coming up second. I can imagine Heroic are going to take that, and then going into the third one, I mean, it's anyone's game on Overpass. A very equal matchup. It's hard to really fully tell Team Dignitas's map pool at the moment, because not only is it a fairly new roster, but they made 2 instant roster changes upon creation of the removal of Michael and Peter, and also the addition of Tensky and Croman previously from Polaris. So yeah, I mean this is a really new, fresh Dignitas roster, and I'm excited to see how they perform today. And obviously the winner of this goes on to Cologne 2017, so it's a huge matchup for both teams.
Yeah, Dignitas have had quite a good time with things thus far. They really surprised everyone, even the other day when they beat Space Soldiers 16-2 on this very map. Now they're going to have the buy coming on in. Heroic take that man advantage, courtesy of Cadian with the AWP, locking down Banana. Banana, just a terrifying angle to have to try and deal with. Yugi's going to get tagged down low, though, chipping away at his health. It's going to be Rubino there through the wall bang as Yugi, 27 HP, has to fall on back. Nico watching balcony patiently up here over towards A along with the rest of his team. The bomb actually going to be picked up now by Jacob as they turn their attention instead over towards this B bomb site. They leave Rubino over in Apps yet again. The rest of the team stacking up now. Rubino looks to join them. They might be a man down, but they're stacking up outside of B, ready to push on in. And Body and Cadian both playing this very, very passively. Cadian should be able to find the first with the AWP. They do have Molotovs there to flush him out, so once he takes that first shot, things could get a little hot and heavy, and that's where you do have Modi to back him up. Smokes and flashes now rain on in. The rotate should already be coming on through from Heroic. The push is well and truly here, but Cadian going to mop up a second. Finally falls as Modi only gets 1. The trades go back and forth, but the bomb is going to go down, and Dignitas find themselves with 2 players left alive in a 2-on-3 retake.
And Fox very low as well. This will make things even more difficult. The smoke will go down deep as well. He has a Molotov to even help to get anyone defusing the bomb, where he just blows it off towards ruins as well. Gets aggressive. Tries to look for this pick because they need to turn this man advantage situation into a favourable one, but Nico finds Tensky in the meantime, leaving Fox alone on the site, waiting for the push to come in. They're making their way behind him. He misses the split shot, and Snappy will take him down. And that way they're around for Heroic. Fairly clean. Keep 2 AWPs as well. And 2 AWPs over on the CT side of Inferno, fairly rare. I feel like the only team that really utilises it well is G2. They constantly pick that up on both Kenny S and Shocks, and they have the ability to, I don't know, just make it work a lot of the times. And I don't see many other teams having too much success with it, and they pick it up. So seeing Heroic do it, they must have a trick up their sleeve. Obviously, they've got Cadian stepping in for Harry, help me out here. Valde. There we go. Got there in the end.
Well, you're already used to the new Heroic roster. That's it. You've accepted the changes in their full. And well, I tell you,
I said standing in for Valde. To be fair, I mean, one team.
I think he killed himself.
He did.
After picking up the first. Could not bear life any longer with a murder on his hands. And while the push continuing up through Banana here, it is going to be Snappy to try and hold back the tide of Dignitas. Doesn't manage to do so. The rotate already looking to come on through. And at this point, Dignitas, I mean, they've got that man advantage. They've got control of Banana. We can already see they're going to fall on back. And Fox, what was that? That blew my mind. And speaking of blowing minds, it blew Yugi's clean open. As now they're going to make their way up through mid. AWP can be picked up, and Fox has that in hand. He's a devastating beast altogether with the AWP in hand. And Nico's able to get 1 before being traded on out, leaving it all on Cadian, 1v3.
He's just going to hold on to his gun. Allow Team Dignitas to pick up their first round, but we're 4 in for Heroic, so it's not too bad of a start for them, considering this is not their map pick either. And the shame is, Dignitas are 3 low players, so realistically, if he had a rifle, he probably could have gone for this one. Maybe done some damage, maybe even taken a couple of kills away, stopped Team Dignitas from growing their economy, but now they're not going to be chasing too heavily. They're no way going to be walking in towards B, knowing that he's got that AWP as well, so it's likely just going to be 3 guns saved for Team Dignitas, and they'll just start to build up their cash on the T side, which is very important. Obviously, if you keep 3 players alive, your cash only builds up, but if you only have 2, it doesn't go too well. So either way, Cadian holding onto his gun. It's going to be Team Dignitas to finally pick up that first round, but Heroic with a bit of money to fall back on to go for this buy.
Yeah, now Fox having the AWP in hand could be the game changer here for Dignitas. He's one of the players that I would argue with the skill gap between the rifles and the AWPs is well worth keeping him on that AWP as often as you can. Still a competent rifle nonetheless. But this time 3 players for Dignitas. Once again heading over here towards apartments. Bomb still waiting over towards the bottom of mid with Fox here. Looking downrange with the AWP. Cadian's got an AWP of his own over on Banana, looking to try and face off with the deadly Fox himself. Not to be confused with Dead Fox. That made it sound like they were similar. They're really not. As the smoke is down for the time being. Just going to be fading away off from Banana. 4 players for Dignitas now grouped up over towards apartments. Looking like they might try their luck out towards A.
Yeah, looking like a burst strategy in order again, and the thing is, Heroic haven't contested this apps control at all. All it takes is 1 round for them to get up in their face, and this could be a real hard T-side setup for Team Dignitas. They focus so much on this control, but Snappy denying the first. Jacob's going to fall down. Nico will drop Chroman as well coming out of the apartments, and Yugi's even posted with the AWP. So right now, Team Dignitas having no luck with their push. Rubino's got to find himself a pick. While Nico is low, there's still no one dead on the side of Heroic, and time is slipping away from the fingers of the Team Dignitas team, as Rubino finally will strike. He gets himself the first, and Molly should force out Nico, but he smokes it off. 7 HP remaining. He stays alive in the pit. That's crucial. Modi and Yugi now picking up kills, and Rubino left with no answer. Finally does take down Yugi, but he's getting pushed up close. Modi's already jumping onto the site, and he is in perfect position to take him down. That's the round. Heroic pick it up, and that's all off the back of Nico. If he didn't stay alive over in that pit, Rubino would have had a far easier time focusing towards long, maybe taking down Modi and making that round a doable one for Team Dignitas, but he knew that there was always a player on his back to watch out for in pit. So a great round from Heroic and Nico specifically, and we will be seeing a 5-1 scoreline. The reset coming in for Team Dignitas, but it did come alongside with the bomb plant, so they can actually invest into this one.
Now it is going to be rifles across the board, with the exception of Jacob, who's relegated down in that Deeg. Nice bit of utility for them to have, although a little bit lackluster. Going to be a bit bare, left high and dry in the afterplants. Bomb and Jacob over towards Apps. Yugi trying to take a bit of a peek. With the AWP is going to be punished for that aggression and will go down. That's the AWP now up on Jacob to try and find an opener. It does spot out Snappy as well over towards Boiler. 3 players still exerting some pressure down towards Banana. Now, going to be interesting to see how Dignitas do choose to play this. They've got the man advantage, but they've also got 3 players pushed up over towards B. So, curious to see if this bomb will rotate around if they go for the B hit, or instead they might try their luck on A. And it looks like B is going to be the site in question. All 5 players for Dignitas grouped up on Banana, ready to make their way in.
Yeah, Modi not on this boost spot again. Unsuccessful in the previous round, so he's just going to be sitting close. And Cadian, bit of an off angle here, just looking in through the gap in the smoke, trying to catch anyone from Team Dignitas if they do decide to peek. But again, without the man advantage, without 5 players alive, Heroic can't pre-rotate anyone. They've got players playing so far on the other side of the map, the furthest possible point, so it's going to be hard for rotations. Cadian needs to hit his shot, and he will. Rubino's down. He misses the second one, but Modi's out for support. He picks up one himself, and now it's a 4v3. A doable round for Heroic, but still on the cards for Team Dignitas, as the bomb is not yet retrieved. However, the rotations are just coming in. Nico is very, very close. Cadian will double down with his second kill of the round, and Jacob will hold the rotations. As Snappy gets dropped in Banana, it's all onto Tensky. He's made his presence known, and Nico will take advantage. It's Heroic's round to take. Another one on the board for the CT side, and this is far more dominant than I would have expected considering Team Dignitas' map pick.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, you know, say what you will about Cadian coming in for the time being, at least to stand in for the benched Valdi. You know, I think he's doing extremely well, going above and beyond what the people on Heroic, you know, fans and even the management could have ever expected. He's been consistently putting up some fantastic numbers, and it looks to be worth its weight in gold in this matchup. 6-1 is now Dignitas relegated down for the most part to these Glocks in their pocket. Trying their luck out over here towards A, and the MP9 up on Yugi, the infamous best SMG in the game. Already going to be able to pick up that first frag. Tensky will go down. He's looking to try and get more work done, and they're just going to feed him the money. Snappy comes around with the UMP. That's him and Yugi between them. Mop up 4 frags over in mid. It's all on Jacob. 1v5.
Gets the first and the second. Okay, Jacob. Still not in the realms of possibility, though. He hasn't got any armor to play with, but good damage done. Heroic overfacing a little bit there. Nico will take him down. And Heroic 7-1 here on the CT side. We're going to see Team Dignitas back on their bye. And this is the breaking point. If this is where Team Dignitas need to pick up a round. If they do not get on the board here, this is where it all falls apart. Heroic will be up to 9 before you know it. And that's just such a dominant CT side already. So I'm getting very, very worried for Dignitas. This is, you know, an elimination match, a qualification match, whatever you want to call it. A very important one. And as we said earlier, winner of this heading to ESL 1 Cologne 2017 in Germany. A massive stadium, a massive event. And Dignitas can't let that slip away by a stomp. They should at least bring it close if they're going to lose. As we can see, up towards mid they do set up. We have 2 players on the CT side in defence. Heroic have Snappy and Yugi waiting for this contact play.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of pressure on Yugi to hold this back. Will be smoked off and just fading away. Holding it more passively, Snapping to take the aggression and does pay for that with his life. The peak a little bit unfounded as it means he does go down. They're going to have to rotate a player in from B. Modi, the man tasked with rotating around. Cadian still holding the flank over on Banana. And actually, you can see they're going to send Tensky back to watch for any aggression down from B and perhaps even rotate off, as there are currently 3 players situated over here towards the site. And once again, a peek out from Yugi in towards middle this time. Nets another frag the way of Dignitas. Ready to collapse on out in towards this bomb site. Modi peeking out long, and a lot of unnecessary peeks mean a lot of frags going the way of Dignitas. Now it's all on Nico from pit, who does get one before being snuffed out. Leaving this on Cadian. 1v4, the lone B player with the AWP in hand, looking to try and save, as Dignitas will pick up their second round.
Yeah, I mean, well, they did obviously do it very well, kept 4 players alive. It was very, very aim battle dependent, very dependent on Heroic overfacing and letting them get those picks early on. Obviously, information is one thing that you need. I can justify that peak. I think it was a Modi looking down towards long, but even so, the unnecessary early faces from Heroic does allow Dignitas to pick up a round. So this will be 2-7 now. And Heroic again with another potential, you know, reset here. I mean, look at the money. They've got something to fall back on. Cadian's got the AWP he can throw over a gun. We have Nico who will have enough for 2. So plentiful amounts for Heroic still. It's just not very well spread across. You can see a max of 8 on Nico and a minimum of 3 on Yugi. He needs an orb thrown over to him. Nico or Cadian could do that. And yeah, this buy will be absolutely perfect for Heroic. Team Dignitas, on the other hand, they've got no money to fall back on. If they lose this, it's going to be a complete, well, washout of cash. They're going to have about 3k each, and that's just not enough to go for the buy. Maybe with a bomb plant and some kills, they could combine it and maybe get some kind of buy, but even so, it's a tall order. They need to pick up a couple rounds in a row. They need to start getting their T-side on the board, and this is where they aim to begin.
Yeah, they've slowed right down. Not opted to go for any aggression early on, instead waiting to see if Heroic come to them. We saw a lot of unnecessary peaks in one of the previous, or just last round. And this time Heroic looking to try and learn from their mistakes, are playing this a lot more passively. It means Yugi doesn't have anyone there to trade if they do rush out through mid, but now he's going to make the decision to fall on back of Divines to try and hold off long as the crossfire set up with the players in pit. As Team Dignitas look to push out on towards this A bomb site, there's 3 players here with a fourth rotating round in the form of Modi. They are going to be walking into a bit of a stack and a much stronger setup than what they saw last time.
It's all coming down to timing. They're taking this one very, very slowly on the T side. Finally going to make their way up. Again, Tensky still holding this flank. No one coming through for Heroic. They've just got Cadian posted on Banana. He can get a pick, he can drop off if they ever come B, but in the meantime, they're just holding on, waiting for Team Dignitas to make the next move. No need to overpeak. Yugi's got that AWP though, so definitely worth holding the angle, at least trying to get a pick as they come on round, but they're finally going to burst, make their positions known. As Jacob looks to come out of the apartments, it's Rubino to make first contact, pushing through short. Snappy removes his head, and there's the first kill going the way of Heroic as he drops down and finds a safer position, allowing Nico to do the damage, and the crossfire between these two is perfect. They just mow everybody down, and Heroic, they will pick up another round on the board. Dignitas having no response once again. Double up kept intact here for the CT side, and as I said, with no bomb plant, no kills, Team Dignitas, they've got no money to play with.
No money and outgunned. Team Dignitas do find themselves on the ropes, and already Rubino going to be tagged down through mid on the back of that peek from Yugi. We've seen 3 players up through Banana for Dignitas. They have a lot of angles left to clear, and Fox, the man with the Deeg, to try and take the peek on out. Might be the spot Cadian does. Spine over by Coffin's now going to continue this reign of terror. Pivots on the spot and drops out Modi. That's a gun picked up. Cadian has to try and hold this back and buy time for the rotates. Players coming in from all sides of the SMGs. Not the SMGs, the Tech-9s and the Deegs rail shots down range, but the bomb is going to go down. The rotates coming on through, and through the smoke, Yugi finds himself. Rubino, the player who he tagged early on, finally coming back to finish him off. Turns the tide of battle as now the man advantage in favor of Heroic. Croman getting out towards CT does do damage. It's going to find a frag, but right now these rifles just chipping away. The rifle on Fox doing the damage, but he is finally being forced out by the Molotov. Speaking on wide, it's Tensky leaving this all on Croman. 1v2. Bomb timer ticking away. Just going to stop the defuse, but he's going to get beheaded by Snappy. Cadian with the defuse kit, more than enough time to pick that up. It will be Heroic to secure themselves a 9th, but Dignitas invested very little into that round, so they can't be too disappointed.
Yeah, at least that will facilitate a full buy coming into this one, but again, we talk about, getting the money, getting the damage, etc. It's not good enough when you're not getting rounds, and that's exactly what Team Dignitas are missing out on, rounds. Only 2 on the board out of the last 11. And every round that goes by that they miss out from is another bit of buffer if they lose that second pistol. So it's very important they pick one up. But Cadian, peek out from Banana. Nice aggression there. Going to pick up Croman. And instantly just fall on back. The smoke goes down. That holds back Team Dignitas. He can take a safer position, a safer angle. They have no AWP on Team Dignitas to even trade. So right now, Cadian's in a perfect spot. And he's just making a mockery of Team Dignitas, as is Nico. Another pickup in the apartments, drops on back to pit, and it seems like Heroic are just facing up, holding an angle, getting a shot, and then dropping off. It's a perfect way to get these early advantages on the CT side, and Team Dignitas, they've had no response thus far.
And this is where things get scary. They let Nuke slip through as the push comes in towards B, though. We can debate maps in just a second. Cadian to pick up the first, doing more damage as Modi and him have been a force to be reckoned with. over here towards this B-bomb site. Rubino up close, though, does show that the AK's might is not to be messed with as he picks up the first. Modi just going to fall on back. Might even allow this bomb plant to go down and just play for the retake with the two-man advantage. There's plenty of time left, though, for them to go ahead and deny this. Pushing on through. Ruins is going to be Modi to pick that frag up on a Rubino, leaving all on Tensky, who goes down as well at the hands of Yugi. Heroic to pick themselves up a 10th, only losing Cadian in that round after he got 2 frags as well. So it is going to be a 10th now for Heroic. And as I was saying, Hugo, pretty terrifying if you're Dignitas. Moving into the next map, which is going to be Nuke, they really needed to pick this map up. Currently being 8 rounds behind does not fare well for them. I mean, do you think this is, you know, if they get the next couple of rounds, do you think they can still come back? Or do you already think maybe it's too far gone?
I don't think it's too far gone. I would usually, but the only reason I don't is because this is a map that Heroic are fine at, but not exceptional at. Now, moving into this is Dignitas' pick. When we end up on Heroic's T side, if they can't pick up pistol and they have to play a few rifle rounds to close out this map, they may have an issue. Team Dignitas may have a great CT setup, so there is still potential. That being said, this is so dominant right now. Team Dignitas need that buffer, because if they end up with a 13-2 half, this is over. This is done. So they need that buffer, they need that pistol, and then theoretically they could bring this back. But again, it's Cadian with the AWP, striking as he does. 2 kills to him. Modi get a support from that boost spot, finds himself another double. But Jacob grabs an AK and wraps back behind Cadian. I don't think he's realised either, but luckily for Jacob, he doesn't know he's still in that position. Trying to hold his back as Yugi's come through towards the CT spawn. And Jacob just holding the angle, waiting for a pick, does land it. There's Nico, but Yugi's been spotted with the AWP, and Cadian should be coming in from the back in the meantime, but he's actually wrapping through CT right now. As Jacob, he's just holding off the fort in the ruins, waiting for someone to push him through his crosshair, but Snappy just going to wait for him instead. Heroic pick up an 11th round, and yeah, this is it. This is the bye. If they don't win this is game over.
Yeah, this round is pivotal. If they can pick up 4, they at least leave the zone whereby the pistol round can decide the fate of your team. Pistol round, of course, a little bit wild card, almost 50-50 in nature, and they're worth their weight in gold. If Dignitas do forego this round, it's likely that Heroic will arrive at a 13-2 scoreline, at which point the pistol round and the wins on the back of it could ultimately decide Dignitas' fate. And well, it's 3 players down towards Banana early on. Modi this time going to take some aggression along with Cadian. Nate doesn't find any damage just yet, and Jacob over in apps. Nappy holding close in mid, going to be the one that he looks to contend with. Nico playing it from pit. They have that crossfire set up on A that we've seen work time and time again, but it looks like Dignitas are determined to make this B bomb site play work, and this time Cadian gets caught out going aggressive. They're looking to try and follow up with the frag, but he does make it back onto the site. Now has Modi to try and reinforce. This is a good shot here for Dignitas to try and pick something up. They've done a lot of damage on Acadian. Usually we see him get a multitude of frags before they even get in towards that B-bomb site. He's somewhat been the king of it along with Modi, but this time he's tagged down to a measly 19 HP.
Well, let's see how this defense can go despite the health disadvantage. Jacob's still trying to lurk out through A in the meantime. That smoke going down. Now Jacob's probably going to just peek out, try and cause some kind of rotation. In the meantime, look at this pushback from Yugi. He's actually pre-rotated to B with no information. They're just doing this off of complete guesswork. With 30 seconds left, it makes a lot of sense because we're hearing no footsteps outside of A from Team Dignitas. They are going to be set up perfectly for this. Smokes go through. Modi playing close. He has to hit his shot, but he drops back thanks to the flashbang. It's going to be Cadian to make the first peek, but he goes down straight away. Croman, Rubino, and Jacob all find themselves entries. It's all suddenly onto Yugi. Everyone's been killed, and someone's run right past him. Croman sneaks into the back lines, and Yugi will get dropped. It's Team Dignitas to finally make a mark, and I'm glad to see it. I didn't want to see them completely fall out. I do want to see how Heroic fare on that T side. So hopefully they'll be able to close out this last one as well, maybe give themselves a little bit more to play with. But Heroic, again, so much cash, can full buy up for the last round and keep that double open play as well.
Up Banana early on. Cadian once again going to be holding the aggressive angle. Molotov to try and force him back. So if he does rotate off, it's going to be burned just a little bit. 3 players over by Banana once again. It does seem like Dignitas already looking like they want to try and make some magic happen out towards B. Pop Flash going to come out, allows Cadian to do some damage downrange. Now holding the angle, waiting to see if anyone does go aggressive. And they're not going to come hunting for him. Instead, they let him bide his time. Yugi over in mid, the other AWPing player for Heroic, spots out 2 players and over in apps. He does have Snappy to back him up, but he's got to watch out because he's extended very far forward and could get caught out, but instead going to make the decision to fall on back. Currently, a couple of opportunities for both teams to find openers, but nothing has come of it. 3 players still over here on Banana, lining up these smokes and flashes to potentially go in. As they rotate Rubino back to join up with the rest of the squad, it does look like B could be the site in question.
Yep, and the smokes will make it very, very clear to the opposing team as well. Heroic are going to be completely knowing what's going on. Cadian sitting close in the smoke as the counter smoke does come down from that CT side. This is a dangerous position with an AWP. With a rifle, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I feel like you need to get out of there before they just flash on through and burst that B site. They have still got one more smoke to commit with it, and surprisingly, Heroic, they haven't pre-rotated yet. Yugi's still on that A site, so Cadian going to be Molotoving off. They'll just run right through it. It's Muddy close on the site, waiting for the contact, but Chroma takes his head off. Nice shot there. Cadian missing the return as well, so not even a trade coming in, but finally Yugi strikes, but only to his demise as he falls straight after. Rubino takes down Cadian with the aggression. Only 7 seconds remain, but it's enough for a plant.
Snappy does find Jacob, though, turns it into a 2-on-3, closing out that advantage. Rubino with the AWP posted on up, only has 11 HP. Nico going to land the shot into a 2-on-2, and now this retake gets that much more plausible. Jacob going to be flashed on back, has the crossfire set up with Croman. Nico, first man onto the site. Snappy going to be following in late behind, and now that means he can't trade out. Jacob's been tagged down so low, time just being whirled away. He can spot out the back, and he goes for the spray, finds the first. Croman's still holding the angle. The defuse going to come on in. Does fake it out though, and Croman lands the shot, clutches the round out, 1v1, gets to the 3k and picks Heroic up. Picks Dignitas up a 4th round.
Yeah, great stuff. Again, a dominant half for Heroic on that CT side, but this is moving over to the map pick. This is, sorry, the map pick of Team Dignitas, so moving over to the T side, maybe Heroic are going to have a bit more of a limited playbook. That being said, if they get the pistol round, they're not going to need a big playbook because it will be fairly easy just to close it out. 11 rounds will probably be going straight up to 14 if they can close out the subsequent anti-ecos. But again, it's all going to come down to that pistol. It's so necessary for Team Dignitas to pick it up, and on the CT side, they're in the perfect spot to do it. The thing is, as well, I'm liking the new addition to Team Dignitas. I'm liking to watch Croman. He's actually a really good individual player. Coming from the previous Team Polar, it's the Norwegian team. And I guess after Norse disbanded, they were, or are regarded as the best Norwegian team, but currently having their issues, I can imagine, with the latest, well, leave of Croman, the best player on the team, and clearly a phenomenal aimer. So I'm interested to see where they go. They got knocked out by Godsend in the previous round, I think, of the quarters, but even so, to get that far into the close qualifier when no one's really heard of them is impressive at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see not only how Heroic do on their T side, but how Dignitas fare on the CT side. We know that from past experiences, it is a good side for them as a team. The issue is, when we look at it, really, there's been a couple of players who have been stepping up in a big way and others falling silent. Tensky, someone who we usually look to have fairly big performances, barely even on the board. And you know, usually having 1 or 2 players that can really make a difference benefits you a lot more on your T side as opposed to the CT side. So I am curious to see how that affects things as we now continue into the second half. 4-11 is the scoreline, and the pistol round is not just important, it is necessary for Dignitas to stay in this. Already Rubino finding some damage down through mid. Going to be spotted out by Nico, who does have the dig.
Unable to pick up the kill. It's actually Rubino to open things up. CT side already have that man advantage, but Yugi trades as they rush in through the apartments. Water falling out onto this A side. There's only Rubino to defend this one. Other players are on the other side of the map, and Cadian's even going to drop him as Rubino's down. Now Team Dignitas left in the man disadvantage, going in for the retake on the pistol round. This is so difficult here. It's going to be Heroic set up perfectly to deal with this round.
On the flank, Jacob coming on in. They've done a good job of holding him back, maintaining this man advantage. Croman's going to be pushing up towards the site as well, but Cadian has him well and truly in his iron sights, doing the damage. Croman just going to be chipped away as finally he gets taken down. Shots rallying in from balcony with the bond timer ticking away. There's very little time left. They have to get into the site quickly. They turn into a 2-on-2, but already it's too far gone. Tensky and Jacob just have to fall on back, and Tensky doesn't even survive the perilous journey. Jacob, the only player who does survive. Snappy still kicking as well for the side of Heroic. It will be the T's to pick up that pistol round, and from here you should expect them to reach that kind of 4-14 scoreline unless Team Dignitas can go ahead and win it out here on their force buy.
I just don't expect to see anything from this point onwards at this At this rate, Heroic are just about to close out the map. And you can see they're playing it very, very safely as well, going with 3 rifles. It's not about a money game. They've only got 4 more rounds left to win this whole map. They just want to guarantee their spot in winning this round. That's the most important part. Fox, good damage with the Deagle. Yugi's going to get tagged up early. But still, not going to result in a kill. Team Dignitas still playing this 5-on-5, not getting that first pick. And Yugi now has no reason to expose himself to the banana, not allowing them to take him down early on. It's Fox to chase frags. Cadian's just on the other side, so close, going to be able to react in time, takes him down. Fox has no retaliation, and there we go, that's already a pick going the way of Heroic. At this rate, I don't see how Team Dignitas can get back into this map.
Hey, an uphill battle could be an understatement. More like a vertical incline at this point. 14 Dignitas, Chrome going to be tagged down to 22 HP. Still 2 players over towards this B bomb site as well. In the form of Jacob and Tensky, leaving a lot of pressure on Croman and Rubino to hold back the coming tide of Heroic players about to storm their way. With how they're set up, they look like they could even delve in through CT, but it looks like the wrap going to be coming through. 2 players on this A bomb site to hold this down. Their life expectancy looking to be very short as they get spotted out and picked. Katie going to charge on through with the UMP. Rubino does find 1 from Apps, but then he's going to fall at the hands of Nico. Tensky and Jacob left to try and retake this site 2v4 with armor, pistol, smoke, and a defuse kit. They might just opt to save, given that Heroic have had so much time to get into these afterplants.
Yeah, that would be it. 13 rounds to Heroic. The best chance Team Dignitas had to get back in before their buy is gone, but they still have an eco to come up. Again, it is very possible that they could take the eco round, however, as improbable as it does seem. Either way, 13 rounds to Heroic. And at this rate, it's going to be 14 before Team Dignitas can go for their full buy, and at there, they're going to need a huge comeback. A 12-round comeback, and that's a tall order. No matter the team, no matter the matchup, 12-round comeback is never easy.
Oh, Hugo, can you say comeback one more time? I think that you said it, what, like 3 times in 10 seconds. It was fantastic. The way it rolls off your tongue is just phenomenal. What do they need? What do Dignitas need?
They need a comeback.
There you go. Fantastic. And, well...
What?
3 players up, Banana. Actually, it's just going to be the full B stack for Dignitas coming on in. Everyone over towards here. Not there's Katie, no, but on the other side of this wall, there is a lone Jacob with Tensky waiting behind the sandbags to try and help out. The CZ up close going to be devastating if they do round the corner. They have to probably check the corners, check the angles before they make their move. And with players clearing out apartments, it does look like a... should be the site in question. I imagine they're not going to try and get themselves caught off guard walking into a site that could be stacked. As the Molotovs rain on through, it's going to force Tensky out as things get a little bit hot under the collar over where he is. Jacob going to be spotted in the corner. Tensky still alive. They think the corner's going to be clear, but it did miss its mark slightly. Tensky still spotted and dropped out the equation. Leaves now everyone else still alive and standing in towards B that should realize it's going to be a stack, but they're just going to power on through anyway.
Fox towards the back of the site. He may go unnoticed, but he's actually going to peek out, take the fight. Him and Chrome are both landing a kill, but there's no point letting these players get away with guns. At this rate, though, if I was Heroic, I wouldn't be letting these guys save. That's the only issue, because now they both have weapons, and they can take them to the next round. They can build up their economy, but it seems like they may even chase. And Nico's positioned perfectly to deal with this one. Towards the T spawn here, just waiting. Modi as well, going to take down Chroman over in CT. And Heroic, it's okay, because they don't let them get away with the guns, but that could have been very, very dangerous. If they let them walk off with AKs and UMPs, they could definitely get away with that in the next round and maybe even catch out Heroic. But now they have their rifles in, normally. They have the M4s, they have the utility as well to work with for the side of Team Dignitas, but it is their last shot. Because if they lose this, they are going to be forcing up for the final round, and Heroic will be at map point.
And Dignitas hoping for that comeback. They are going to be... 10 rounds between them and Heroic right now. A long way to go if they want to go ahead and pull this one back.
Are you okay, Harry? You're having a moment.
I'm having a moment. I'm trying to be serious, but I just can't get over you saying that word.
Harry's into ASMR apparently now.
Oh, Hugo, mate, you just take it away. You got this round. It's actually very important. No, right, back to reality. Here we go. 5 players for Heroic over here towards the A bomb site. 3 for Dignitas. They do have the crossfire set up. Rubino waiting and Pitt, the 2 players on site. Croman and Fox to try and hold back the coming tide of Heroic, pushing on in. Croman with the M4, the only player still alive. He watches his teammates get decimated before his very eyes. Does claim 1 life before Muddy is quick to jump into action and get to Tensky and Jacob to retake. 2 versus 4. Bomb's going to go down, and this round is so important for Dignitas. This map pick is one that they should be taking. Moving into Nuke next, it's Heroic's home turf. It's one they're so incredibly good on, beating many of the tier 1 teams out there. So Dignitas, they're going to be up against it, to say the least. And it looks like they're just going to have to save. 2v4, it's not worth it going in for the retake. Jacob might even get spied out and go down. So now it's terrible Tensky, 1v4, looking to try and save his M4 if he can, which he can. But it's going to leave them with next to nothing for the last round of the half.
Terrible Tensky is not a Terrible Tensky is not a nickname I think he wants to go by, but indeed, this is basically over at this point. I've been counting this out since the pistol at this rate. Heroic in for their final buy, and Team Dignitas trying to invest what they can for this last round. It looks like it's all going to be falling apart in just a few seconds. Cadian, yeah, he's on a rifle. I was wondering if he was going to go for the AWP. I can imagine he's just going to go for a fast burst play at this rate, because it's 15-4. They are dominating the scoreboard. And I wouldn't want to see an AWP. There's no point. Just play those rifles, play your aim game, you know the style, and they'll be absolutely fine, because Team Dignitas just not winning in these aim duels. As I say that, Rubino, he's going to be sitting in the apartments, find himself one, but Nico, look at that wallbang trade in through the wall. He takes down in revenge. At least Heroic bring it back to a 4-on-4.
Over on banana, Tensky has been just chipped away at. There's still a minute and 9 seconds left for Heroic to make their mind up. The ball is very much in Dignitas' court if they want to try and stay on top of this one. And as Heroic charge up banana, Jacob just going to offer himself to them on a silver platter. Will go down. Croman able to put it back into a 3-on-3 at least, as he does execute Nico over towards Apps. Tensky doing a good job of holding back the push towards B, buying time. Fox through the smoke though. Has to try and land something, and he can't. Bomb plant will come in. He's charging on round with the scout, but Cadian's allowed to fall on back into the safety of Dark Fox and Croman. 2v2 in the retake. This map is worth its weight in gold. It is almost the sole decider whether or not they get to stay in this, because of how strong and feared Heroic are on Nuke. And right now, as Croman falls, Fox can try and clutch this out as he puts it into a 1-on-1. Yugi, the man left to try and win this out for Heroic. Defuse has to come in to try and bait Yugi out, but he's clearing all the angles first, and this is going to cost Fox precious time. 1v1, he must just have to stick the defuse at this point if he wants to go for it, and that's it. He knows he doesn't have it. He's just going to go down to the explosion. That is Heroic to go ahead and pick this one up. A dominant performance across the board as they win out. Map choice of Dignitas on Inferno.
What a dominant display.